Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station. I'm Graham O'Brien, and some of the stories coming up in today's news. Head in the Sand Warriors cause independent report, villagers treated to Marco's competitive edge, Trans-Pacific Partnership protesters take over, and much more. Coastal Golden Bay residents in Pakawa have witnessed more of their properties, including council reserve buffer zone, decimated by weather in recent weeks, as some wonder if council's sand push-ups are the answer. Locals are under pressure as their hands have appeared to be tied by bureaucracy. However, after meeting with the Tasman District Council CEO Lindsay McKenzie and Mayor for Tasman Richard Kempthorne, the suggestion came for the residents to form an incorporated society. They have since done so, and with $10,000 of donated money, a share of which Council also contributed, they have an independent engineer's report commissioned. Chrissy Small caught up with Pakawa resident Laurie Jarrett, who she had spoken to earlier in the year about the erosion problems last weekend.
Laurie Jarrett, we're back here at Pakawa. We're here to see what's happening with the erosion problem. Obviously, the push-up hasn't worked. We've been to have a look, it's gone. Now, there are some other developments. Would you like to talk to me about those?
Yeah, sure, Chrissy. The push-up did work to a degree. I think it would have been, to be fair, a lot worse if the push-up wasn't there. However, on the badly affected sections you saw down to the south, the push-up, the first 3 or 4 sections, had actually gone before the storm got here, and that was a result of just high tides eroded away at the sand. Right. But it really did stem a lot of the force out of the first tide, but unfortunately the wind didn't stop at the first tide. It went through to the midday tide next day, where the wind increased, swung to the southeast, the barometric pressure dropped, the sea came up, and it did the damage that you can see. It's pretty devastating.
Now, the residents here are all concerned. You've formed an organisation, I believe. Yes.
We had a discussion with Lindsay McKenzie and Richard Kempthorne, which was very fruitful, and it became obvious we needed to form ourselves into an incorporated society, and under the umbrella of Warwick Heel, the lawyer, we did that with Warwick's help, and it's the Pakawa Community Residents Association Incorporated. We have in excess of 60 members currently, and there's still people joining.
Right, so this is because they're not happy with what's being done. Is there a general feeling of inaction by council over the problem?
Well, council didn't seem to really want to deal with just individuals, and I think it's an accepted practice to deal with a group. So we formed ourselves into that group, and I think we're now engaged in some fairly constructive discussions with council. And part of that was to employ or commission a qualified coastal engineer to make a full assessment of the beach right along the whole beach.
Right. Now, I believe you've been talking to the engineer yourself, and you were here when he went through and took his measurements and had a look at everything.
Yes, he needed someone that knew a little bit about the history of what had been done, and I appeared to be it. And so, yes, I did accompany him, and he did a pretty thorough GPS survey. We have a draft copy of that, but it would not be proper to reveal that at this stage, because people that have contributed to the cost of this engineer have not seen the report, and neither has our committee, so that just remains under wraps, I'm afraid.
Right. Okay, so, but from your own discussions with the engineer before the report came through, what do you think his opinion was?
Well, council staff were fairly keen on the residents contributing some money towards a further push-up. So they asked me, the residents asked me to contact the engineer for his advice, and his advice was that, in his opinion, it wasn't a cost-effective method, and unless there was an imminent storm, then he would advise not putting any more money into that method.
Okay, so the report has come out, the committee will meet and discuss the report findings. What's the next stage from there?
Well, it'll be up to the committee to discuss what happens next. We will need a discussion with all the affected residents once we get the final copy from the engineer, and he's given us a way forward, and we will need to discuss that with them and then formulate a plan. We will go back to Lindsay and Richard and see if we can come to an arrangement.
Rescue service responders are easily identified by their sign writing, flashing lights and sirens. However, for our local rescue helicopter staff who have put themselves at peril in order to save others, they haven't had the ability to identify themselves when rushing to an emergency. This has proven difficult when staff have been stopped by police for speeding to get to their response helicopter. Now they can be easily identified as they make their way to respond to an emergency call-out. I caught up with the Rescue Helicopter Services onboard paramedic Ernie to check out their newly donated response vehicle. Ernie, you've got a flash new wagon here. Just tell us a little bit about how it came about, please.
Yeah, the vehicle, it's a air ambulance as such. It's an emergency response vehicle for us so that we can get through traffic or get here in a bit quicker or more expediently if we need to. It was donated by the Freemasons, so they've been a long time supporter of the helicopter operation and bought some substantial equipment for us over the years. And we approached them about the need for a vehicle, and they've come on board and provided it for us. So it's good, yeah.
Oh no, it's fantastic, and it's nice to hear people in the community giving so much.
Sure, yeah. I guess a lot of people get sick of us because we're like any charity, we've always got our hand out. The unfortunate thing is with helicopters and aviation, the costs are significantly larger than say some other organisations need, and that's we have to keep that promotion going and keep badgering the community. Example, the winch that we're getting, there's no if, buts or maybes. We need it, and it costs around $250,000. It's hard for people to understand that, but that's the reality. So.
And the winch, you're actually asking for donations now for the winch?
Yes, we have. We've got different things set up through the Give a Little pages or I'm not sure what else Paul has got on Facebook and bits and pieces. It's been in the paper or whatever. Most of the funding has come through, a lot from the community, but there's always that shortfall and different costs along the way. So yeah, we're still looking for to pay it off. Yeah.
That's great. And you're still busy as always. I mean, every time we come down, Paula tells us how busy it is. It's always more busier than last year. Same again at this time?
Yeah, it seems to be, and for no real reason. There's nothing you could attribute it to. August, I forget what the numbers were, but it was the Trust's busiest August that they've had in history. Last year we did 460 missions, and as far as I'm aware, we're well on track to do that again. The weather's really nice at the moment. Daylight savings kicked in. That's when people are out and about doing their thing. Potentially we'll be very busy again, and having the vehicle to be able to go, if we come back and we want to go and get lunch or something because we've been flogged, we know we can get back again in a heartbeat to carry on that service. So.
And like you say, with all the nice weather and daylight savings, people doing their thing means that you have to do your thing more often.
Absolutely, yeah. It's exponentially bigger for everyone. So yeah.
Ernie, thanks very much for all that you do in the community, and we wish you well for your fundraising and hope that you don't actually have to go out too much.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Cheers. On Sunday mid-morning, the Nelson Marlborough Rescue Helicopter had to fly to the coastal township of Pekawa, where an 85-year-old male resident had become acutely unwell, with what one local told Mainland TV was heart trouble, which he had blamed on ongoing erosion problems causing the man stress. After being stabilised by the helicopter's onboard intensive care paramedic, the elderly man was flown to Nelson Hospital for further assessment and care. The Nelson Marlborough Rescue Helicopter later airlifted a 17-year-old male after sustaining a serious injury after falling heavily from his motorbike at the 88 Valley motocross track near Wakefield. The young rider suffered injuries to his face, chest and leg after attempting a jump on the track. The onboard intensive care paramedic provided on-scene assessment and treatment before he was flown to Nelson Hospital's emergency department. An Occupy protest was made in Nelson against the latest round of Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations held in Atlanta last weekend and against the promotion of the TPP by New Zealand's Prime Minister, who will be attending the UN General Assembly of the United Nations this week. A group of around 50 protesters went to Nelson's MP Nick Smith to make two demands: that the TPP document be brought back to New Zealand unsigned so that the people can view what is in the secret trade document. The other demand was that there be no clause that can allow New Zealand government, local bodies, to be sued by overseas investors. Nick Smith has been asked to debate the benefits of the TPP, and we are currently awaiting a response to this request. Fun and games took place at Somerset Retirement Village last week, and some of the Marcos team were there to brush up on their sporting skills. Chrissy Small went along and caught up with the Village Activities Coordinator, Marit Walstra, about the events taking place, as well as some of those competing and spectating during the village sports days.
Marit, we're down here at the Somerset Retirement Village, and you've got Somerset in the Sun happening today.
Surely.
Oh,
Yeah, in the
what
sun.
you must have known.
Oh, yes. Well, we try here in Nelson. Yeah, definitely.
Now, after the weather the rest of the country's been getting, were you a bit nervous about how today would present itself?
Yeah, we did have a backup plan, but no, of course we wanted to be outside here and show off what we can do, and yeah,
Great.
so it's good.
Now, we've got some Marcos here. Now, there's a wee lovely story around how the Marcos have pulled in their resources today to be here. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, we have a lot of active residents here in the village that have a lot of contacts within the Tasman and Nelson region, and one of our residents approached me, and he was really keen to bring some of the Marcos here and play against us as the residents, and so we've gone from there. So today they're playing outdoor bowls, obviously, and indoor they're playing table tennis, and then after that we're doing mobility scooter racing.
Oh, I want to try
You wanna
that.
Go with that, yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
look, it sounds like a lot of fun. How are the Marcos going with it? Are they enjoying
I
themselves?
think they're doing great. Yes, they're even getting some lessons from our residents. And the great thing is, this bowling green was opened about a year and a half ago, and about 6 residents actually played properly before that. And we now have a group of 45 residents that are playing very. Very.
Sophisticated.
Oh yes, yeah, and very competitive, and they play like all the local bowling groups as well. So it's really taking off here. It's great.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's good.
awesome. What a great activity.
Yeah.
And so how are the Marcos coping with the change in sport?
Don't know, maybe you have to interview them. Yeah, no, I think they're doing great. Having fun? Yeah. Oh, two down.
2 down?
There you go.
Okay. Geared up for a bit of a win here today, do you think?
No, we're actually getting a bowling lesson. We're down 5-1.
So no trading sports then for a while.
Not at this stage. Be a lot easier on the body, all the same. But no, we're enjoying it. We're having a great day. The sun's out and having a bit of fun with the locals, so it's cool.
Yeah, no, that's great. And okay, so you'll be stretching your arms, playing these bowling games, and are you going to be doing any other sports after this?
Yeah, we've got a few things planned. We've got bowls, and then there's a couple of other boys playing table tennis as we speak, and then I think after this we're going to do some scooter racing around the village, so we're doing some time trials.
I wonder if they'll let me on.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I bet
Yeah.
you are.
They're doing very well, giving us a hard go, as you can see, but they're true sportsmen.
Yeah, I bet they are. You know, they've been on a winning streak in their own code, but not so much so today, I believe.
Not so far, but there's plenty of time yet.
But you have to have a bit of an underarm technique in the sport, I guess.
Yeah. Straight arm, point to the target. No, I've got no idea. That's just what I've been told.
You've been taking instruction from some of these professional bowlers here.
Yeah. No, they're giving us some hot tips, so
Great.
that's good. It's helping with the, accuracy.
Yeah. And okay, so will this help with your game of rugby? I mean, not that you guys need help at the moment. You're doing really well, aren't you?
Yeah. We're going not too bad. So yeah. Hopefully this will give us that extra bit so we can win it. Yeah. That's the one.
We've got a few cheerleaders going over there, so yeah. So
Oh, I see that. Yes, they've got
get
the
trained
Marcos
in it.
colours.
Yeah, no, it's good fun.
Just wondering how are you enjoying today?
Oh, that is very well done. Plenty of people in attendance.
Yep. Are you having a good laugh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Yeah,
Always have that.
yeah, always have that here.
So
Crack a day too.
isn't it a gorgeous day and everyone else in the country's having bad weather? Would you be happy to see this happen again?
Oh yes, every time, yeah. We put on some good do's here.
Oh, I can imagine you guys would rock and roll around here,
Yeah.
just judging by some of the characters I've met today. And, how do you think your team's doing on the old scooter front?
Oh, I think the Marco's got the edge on it.
You're not game to have a go yourself?
Oh, I had a go the last time we had a go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
Not keen to have a go yourself?
No, I played bowls.
And how did you do in the bowls?
We won the bowls.
Oh, so the
3-0, I think.
Oh, right. So the boys weren't quite up to it, eh?
No, they were pretty good, some of them, but yeah, we got some good bowlers here.
Yeah, but you would have taught them a few lessons, I suppose?
Yeah, we taught them how to play properly, yeah.
Yeah, well, good on you.
Yeah.
So have they challenged you to a game match of rugby yet?
No, I don't think so. No, I think we're past that.
Okay.
This year's supreme winner of the World of Wearable Arts, currently being held in Wellington, has been named as Motueka man Peter Wakeman, who has taken the 2015 Brandcoat Estate Supreme Wow Award. His winning design, titled Diva's Dreamscape, was made from a combination of wood, stainless steel and fiberglass, and was inspired by the introduction of the new Art Deco section this year. This year was the winner's third year of entering the WOW competition, with his first year in 2013 seeing him named as a runner-up to the Supreme Award with his entry Chica Under Glass, a bright pink fiberglass creation. Wakeman's job as a commercial cleaner can now be outshone by his latest creation, which has won him the grand prize of $30,000. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Edward Gibbon, the bathroom specialist, have a great range of bathroom ideas at their showroom at 23 McGlashan Ave in Richmond. Call in and check out some of the latest bathroom designs and fittings. Edward Gibbon, the bathroom plumbing and drainage supply specialist, 23 McGlashan Ave, Richmond.
I'm Francis from Nelson Auto Glass. We repair all auto glass, stone chips, windscreen replacements, scratch removal.
If you have an auto glass issue, our team will sort it.
Nelson Auto Glass Specialist, 84 Vanguard Street, Nelson.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables and much, much more. JCar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Victory 60 Plus is on Tuesdays at 1:30 through to 3:30 p.m. at 238 Upper Vanguard Street. You can join in for cards, games and a cuppa.
On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
G'day, it's your old mate the Mad Butcher, and you're watching Mainland TV.
Are you tired of endless reality shows? Would you prefer to watch captivating documentaries?
They have swallowed cars.
Exciting movies.
Go ahead, load up and shoot.
Music for the soul.
And if you think I ate your fish and chips, I did, you're mistaken.
Programming from around the world. Places to visit. Local news and views.
I'm Graham O'Brien and today's bulletin. Do you want to change the flag?
No, I don't want to change the flag.
Stay tuned to Mainland TV, your local station.
World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.
Nelson Tire Center. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
Imagine a world millions of years in the future. A world where evolution has written a new chapter in the story of life. The world is inhabited by very strange creatures, like nothing the Earth has ever seen. 200 million years in the future, a parched, barren desert stretches over 8,000 kilometers. Only a few creatures survive in this harsh, brutal landscape. And to do so requires some very unusual lifestyles. Here, nothing is what it seems. This baking desert is fueled by food that comes from the other side of a massive range of mountains running down its eastern edge. In 200 million years' time, the planet itself is very different. All the continents have collided and formed one massive supercontinent. The desert is formed where the mountains on the east coast shield the land from the moisture of the global ocean. On this side of the mountains, strange flying creatures, flish, descended from fish, live on the coast and feed over the open water. But they have to live with a continuous danger of violent storms.
Now, one of the things about a supercontinent is, with all the land masses clumped together, surrounded in essence by one huge ocean, the energy balance of the globe changes. There's a lot more energy, a lot warmer ocean, a lot more energy is transferred to the atmosphere. We have much more powerful storms.
Huge hurricanes batter the coastline of the supercontinent. They're hypercanes, 50% stronger than today's most powerful hurricanes, with 400-kilometer-an-hour winds. It would be impossible for any creature to fight against this wind. Swept up by the howling winds, the fish are carried deep into the mountains.
Every once in a while, one of these giant storms that's strong enough to make it over the mountains and make it into this desert inside the continent will bring with it fish. Enormous numbers of fish that got caught up in the storm, blown inland, and as the storm dies out, the fish settle down, as it were, as aerial fertilizer, entering the ecosystem as carcasses.
The fish lie dying in the scorching sun, but already there's something looking for them. A bumble beetle. It can fly at 35 kilometers an hour, fast for an insect. And it has to. It must search vast areas to find one of these fish graveyards.
The bumble beetle's got two problems. The overriding one is that its food source is very spread out and it doesn't know where it is. Because it's spread out, it's got to be able to travel fast and cheaply. And because it's got to find the food, it needs an effective sensory mechanism. Now, modern insects often find food by scent with antennae. But the problem with antennae is they're big and they create a lot of drag. So it makes flight expensive, or it forces the insect to go slowly. The bumble beetle can't do that. It's therefore become rather modified. It's still a bit like an insect in shape, but it's very streamlined.
The front legs are covered in hairs, turning them into extra antennae. But these hairs and the antennae fold down in flight to reduce drag. Stiff wing cases also provide extra lift, saving energy in flight. It starts its journey with 40% of its body filled with fat, which gives it just enough fuel to fly for 24 hours non-stop. The bumble beetle can pick up the scent of a dead fish from 10 kilometers away. And after searching for several hours, it's found one. But this fish is already occupied. By a grim worm, a bizarre kind of insect. Inside the body of the dead fish, grimworms grow quickly on the rich meat. They double their size in 48 hours. As grimworms spend their whole lives eating, their mouth parts have been modified into 3 sets of slicing and grinding jaws. A bumble beetle can't compete with this eating machine. It has no choice but to continue its search. Time is running out.
This desert is one of the harshest environments we can imagine for terrestrial plants and animals to survive in. But they're there. How do they do it? Well, we don't really have to use science fiction again. We can simply turn around and see how plants and animals survive in similar environments. The Namib Desert of southwestern Africa, for example, the Atacama Desert of Chile in the present day. These too have life.
Today, desert animals have different ways of staying cool. The sidewinder keeps most of its body off the burning sand. Other animals, like meerkats, stay in the shade during the day, keeping out of the fierce sun. And a ground squirrel lowers its body temperature by flattening its body onto the cool earth at the bottom of its burrow. But the most common and effective way of staying cool is to wait for nightfall. Now, a whole variety of creatures emerge from their burrows into the cool night air. The desert comes alive. Lizards, like geckos, are joined on the surface by birds, like burrowing owls. Under a clear sky, the desert quickly radiates away the day's heat.